The Legend of the Black Bear.
A little bit louder.
The Legend of the Black Bear.
Like, the Legend of the Black Bear, you know?
The Legend of the Black Bear.
Yes. We can get it as epic as possible.
Okay. Sure.
Lord of the Rings style.
Okay.
So I just want to talk about some of the creative projects that I've created, and kind of why I decided to do what I call as an audio presentation. And the reason why is because I really started out as a writer, and writing short stories is really one of my passions. But what it's really grown into is just a creative endeavor that is so much more than writing. And when I got into media studies and productions at Lake Superior College, that kind of lifted off from just doing short story writing. And of course, as I got more and more into video production and radio production and things like that, I really wanted to take my writing and incorporate it.
Outside, under the stars, the man sat listening to nature's hum.
I guess it was probably like anime. I got into anime, and naturally that just led me to learn more about voice acting. And I watched a few documentaries and read some interviews from famous voice actors that I followed. And it just seems like a really cool thing to be into, you know?
I really found that I liked, and what I gravitated to in terms of production, is sound design. I did a lot of really high fidelity sound design on some of my earliest videos, just because I liked doing it and it didn't feel like work. So from then on, I pretty much just moved into doing video and audio work and getting as good as I can at it, while still writing short stories. I realized that I had to move into revising them and really getting them into their best form if I was ever to share them with people who really know something about writing. I would really have to be self-aware and realize that my first draft or my second draft or my third draft or my favorite passages from a certain story would probably not make it very far in the eyes of, say, a professor or an editor or somebody else. So I took a real hard look at what I needed to do to write effectively, and to do that, I really started to revise my old work and make it sound as good as possible. And through doing that, after the fact that I had gone through Lake Superior College and learned a lot more about production, I realized that I could take my writing and turn it into pretty much any medium I really wanted to.
The next morning at fishing time, the gray-streaked man arose after the sun had climbed well past dawn and attuned to the new day.
Who's your favorite voice actor? Do you have a voice actor that you look up to?
Favorite voice actor? I guess maybe Christopher Sabat, just because his iconic work on Dragon Ball Z really got me into voice acting and like realizing that there are people who actually bring these characters to life in animation like that. So yeah, either him or I might also say I always forget his name, Chris Seaver, I think, who did like all the voice acting on Conker's Bad Fur Day. Like, that guy's probably my real hero.
When I met Justin and I heard his intentions to be a voice actor, I realized that kind of after hearing his voice, that I should definitely go through with turning some of my short stories into something more. Another factor that contributed to that was my own again, urge to share my writing and bringing it to open mics, such as the Lifehouse Variety Show. I realized that my own my own voice and my own skills in terms of performance have never been something I've been interested in. So therefore, I haven't really practiced. So when I went out to these open mics, I really wasn't very comfortable with sort of reading my stories, but I still wanted to share them. And I didn't like the fact that I sort of tripped over my words and my voice was hoarse and things like that. So I thought, if I know how to write it, and I know quite a bit about sound design, and if I can get Justin, if I can convince him just to do one take of the barn, then maybe this thing can take off. And it did.
This has been a pretty fun project. It's a good opportunity to just kind of, when I considered voice acting, I didn't even consider narration as really a thing. So narrating for more of a story project like this wasn't something I even thought about prior to you bringing it to me. So it's been fun trying to do kind of that, like, I don't know if you'd say epic, but kind of a more storyteller voice instead of trying to like create these characters.
Only after the fact that I went back to revising my old writing works and turning it into another medium, and just going forth with it, and it's been a fantastic experience. And this next story is going to be, even bigger than the last, and that's what I really like to do, and that's what I love about production, and what I love about gaining these skills and going even further is that I know that I can really do more, and it just never stops, and I can't get enough of it.
Long ago, before we were humans, before we were animals, we were the elements. Wind, fire, sand, and water. The earth lie dormant and flat.